Thank you.
Do I prefer local coffee shops over Starbucks? Yes. Do I think Starbucks mobile app makes it really easy to order ahead and pick it up on your way to somewhere? Yes. Do I think their rewards program gives me extra impetus? Yes. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be a little different. Rather than just talking to you guys from the comfort of my home, I decided to bring you guys along and talk to you as I go about my day. Saturday morning, I have a tea time this morning. I'm playing golf with a few friends. But in this video, I wanted to share some tips and advice that I would give to project managers. But I also think this advice could be applied across the board to any professional, really. It's general advice, and I think of this advice as something that I would want to tell my younger self. And it's advice that I still try to polish and get better at every single day. So with that, my last video was also more of a vlog format, and I kind of want to keep that up because this channel has always been about information. But the thing is, I don't consider myself an expert. I'm just a normal dude who picked up a camera 4 or 5 years ago, talking about my experience in the Marine Corps Reserves. So I'm also just right now just talking about my own experience as well. So if you guys follow me for information, that's great. I hope you guys get some value out of it. But I also want you guys to follow me for who I am as a person. Life is also not all about work, and I don't want this channel to just be all about work. So if you guys are here for information, that's great. If you guys are here for the lifestyle vlog, that's also great. And with that said, for breakfast, I also picked up this turkey bacon sandwich from Starbucks. Simple, convenient, it's enough food to hold me over until after golf, and then after golf, I'll eat whatever I want. But I'm gonna eat this, play some golf, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Dark horse, renegade, vigilante, got it made. Rebel heart, underdog, play the part. They call me an outlaw. Whoa, whoa, living like an outlaw. They call me an outlaw.
Hey, buddy. So, for someone who hasn't played golf in 7 months, that was not bad. I shot a 3 over par on the back 9. Don't ask me what I shot on the front 9 because I'm not gonna lie, I was a little rusty. I don't play nearly as much golf as I used to, only because I rather spend my time and weekends doing other things, but it is nice to get out there every once in a while. All right, so I wanna share with you guys 5 tips and advice that I would share with project managers. Whether you're a beginner or someone with a lot of experience, I think this advice could help anyone become a better PM, and it's advice that I reflect on each and every day. And I also think this advice could apply generally across the board to any profession, especially those who work with people. And with that, as cliche as it sounds, my first piece of advice is to really invest in your relationships at work, both internally within your own organization and externally with clients or different stakeholders. Remember, projects are about people. They are about interactions and individuals. They're not about processes and tools. Processes and tools are only there to help people get the project done. And your project team is going to include people from various organizations from different roles. So that means you're going to have to learn how to work with different people, different personalities, and you kind of have to understand where everyone is coming from. So I highly recommend reading a book in cognitive science or human/social behavior, not just psychology because psychology is so broad, but human behavior, understanding how the human mind works, how people are motivated. Learning how people think and behave will only help you as a PM when you need to not only learn to work with different people, but how to motivate different people. And also remember, as a project manager, you're not just managing across your project team or delegating down to your project team. You're also managing up to your bosses, your higher ups, your sponsors, whoever it may be. You need to be able to influence certain decisions. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be buddy-buddy or friends with everybody. It also doesn't mean that you have to be an extrovert, because I'm actually an introvert. All it takes is some empathy, and the more you understand social behavior and the more you invest and take time to nurture those relationships that you have with people at work, the more success you will have in your projects and the more fun you will have. Remember, if you're working a full-time job, 40 plus hours a week, the people you work with, you're gonna spend more time with these people than you will with your own friends or family members. Also, this is all part of building your own network. If there ever comes a time where you want to move up within your own organization or move to a different organization, you want to make sure that you have a strong network and you're putting yourself in the best position possible if and when that opportunity arises. Still not used to how early it gets dark. It's daylight savings weekend and it's official. Winter is here. But my second piece of advice is to always strive to think analytically and strategically. Now, I know that sounds super general and super broad, and we've all heard it before, to always think critically and to be strategic, but let's just talk about what that really means. So the word analytical can be traced back to a Greek word that means to break up or to loosen. So to be analytical basically means to take a problem or a task or a situation and break it up into smaller elements to make sense of the situation or to solve the problem or to complete the task. And usually when you break anything down to smaller elements, you get data. So be data oriented and take the time to add data analysis to the list of your hard skills. And I'll admit I'm a little biased because I have a background in data analysis, but data is great, especially as a PM. Data is just facts or figures in their simplest form. I said data like 20 times just now. And let me be clear, raw data is never the solution. It's merely a tool. But with data, you can then sort it and search for information. And from there, you can begin to understand how certain patterns affect one another. And with that information, you can then start wondering, how do they combine? What if we look at it this way? What is the outcome? These are all questions that you should constantly be thinking about as the project lead, because once you have that information, you can then start playing out alternative scenarios and ask yourself and your team, what if this happened? Okay, well, what if this happened? This is your strategic theme at work. Also, I just want to add that to think analytically does not mean to think like a robot. You can still have empathy and practice emotional intelligence while thinking analytically. The two are not binary, they are not mutually exclusive. In fact, a good leader and a good PM knows how to balance the two. It's only like 5 p.m. and it's like completely dark outside. I'm gonna have to get used to this. I'm about to go to the gym, but before I go to the gym, I did want to give you guys my third piece of advice, and that is to ask questions. The role of a PM comes with prestige and seniority and money, and because of that, there's a lot of pressure for you to know a lot of things and be an expert in project management. But let me be clear, you're only an expert in project management. You are not an expert in everything else. That is what your project team is there for. Your project team is comprised of individuals who are essentially experts of their own function. And because of the nature of projects being temporary endeavors, even if you work in the same industry, you're always gonna have a new client, a new product. So always ask questions rather than trying to be a know-it-all. Don't act like a know-it-all, and don't be afraid to ask questions. This is all part of doing your own research, and a good PM knows how to ask the right questions because they balance asking questions with doing their own research, doing their own due diligence. You should always strive to learn something new every day, and you can only learn something new every day by asking questions. And this also goes hand in hand with my first piece of advice, which is investing in your relationships at work. When you have good relationships with members of your project team, you can ask them questions and open lines of communication, and there is trust and empathy built in, and because of that, there's a natural flow and sharing of knowledge. And it is on you as the project lead to cultivate that environment where people feel safe and encouraged to come to share their feedback and their inputs and the information and knowledge that they have. So really have the intellectual curiosity to ask these questions. Don't be a know-it-all, because as soon as you pretend like you know it all, people won't want to share information with you, they won't want to work with you, and it really stifles communication. But if you ask questions, people will naturally want to tell you things, and this is how you become a more knowledgeable PM each and every day.
Save you, you better run.
vegan protein and creatine. So the only supplements I take, that and pre-workout. My fourth piece of advice is to keep it simple and do not overcomplicate things just for the sake of overcomplicating things. I get it. You probably just took a certification course where you learned about a bunch of methodologies that taught you a bunch of different processes and process groups and tools and techniques, and you want to start applying everything that you learned to run a project. Let me just say this. I've personally seen very large projects run off of a simple action log and a simple Gantt chart in Microsoft Excel and weekly sync meetings, and that's all it took for that project to be successful. The tools and the techniques that you use in your project should be optimized for your project. Don't optimize the project for the tools. So what that means is you don't want to rearrange the project to make it fit whatever software or tools or technique that you want to use. It should be the other way around. Everything that you use in a project should be tailored to deliver the results in the most efficient and effective way. Do not overcomplicate projects just for the sake of overcomplicating it. And also keep in mind that there are different levels of experience and understanding and knowledge within your project team. So you want to make sure that everyone on your project team understands what's being asked of them and they understand how the project is going to be executed. And you can only do that or make sure everyone understands by keeping things as simple as possible. So for dinner, I'm actually treating myself to a New York strip steak. I almost said ribeye because I'm a huge fan of ribeye. I like the steaks that have a little more fat in them, but the strip steak was on sale at Whole Foods, and let me tell you guys, when things go on sale at Whole Foods, the prices are comparable to those that are, you know, the cheaper grocery stores, but obviously because it's Whole Foods, it's much better quality. So don't be so turned off by Whole Foods. I'm telling you, some things can be expensive, but when you shop the sales and you know what you're doing, it's actually pretty good value. But with that, my last piece of advice is to seek mentorship and coach others. And this goes hand in hand with my first piece of advice, to invest in your relationships at work. When you're building relationships at work, be on the lookout for those who you think could be good mentors, people who you think could add value to your professional development. And keep in mind, mentors can take many forms. They could be your coworkers, your boss, your clients, and you can have multiple mentors. Having a good mentor or mentors will help fast track years of experience by help guiding you to spend your efforts in the right places. So that way you're not spinning your wheels, you're not learning things the hard way, you're taking their experiences and applying it and adding it to yours. As you do this, also spend some time helping and coaching others, being a mentor to others, because it really helps you not only establish yourself as someone who knows what they're doing and someone who can contribute to the organization by sharing their own knowledge and experiences and helping others, but it also helps you get better at what you do, and it helps you stay sharp, and it allows you or gives you the impetus to learn new things and to not ossify, but to really improve on your skills. And also keep in mind, a mentorship is not a one-way thing, it's a two-way thing. So really think of ways that you can add value to your mentor, whether that's just supporting them, asking them if they need anything, or even, you know, sponsoring them on LinkedIn. There are different ways that you can add value to your mentor, and it should always be a two-way thing. So keep that in mind. Medium rare, just how I like it. But there you have it, guys. Those are my 5 general career tips / advice that I would give to project managers. So to recap, invest in your relationships at work, think analytically and strategically, and be data oriented, ask questions, keep it simple, and seek mentorship and coach others. I know there are a ton of other great, solid, general career advice, tips and advice, but I try to refrain from mentioning any of the really cliche ones. But let me know what you guys think. What are some advice and some tips that you would give to project managers or to really anyone who is seeking to better their career and better their professional development? So I'm gonna eat this steak. It's been a long day. I'm just gonna relax. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.